Hello ladies and mostly gentlemen, I'm Vinny B and I just built myself a nice tube bender. But now I want to break it. Yep, for real. I'll be throwing at it any sizes of 2-inch tube I could find in the shop. And I've got some beefy ones because I want to test the limits of this bender to make sure it will handle my everyday needs. I should say my every year needs. I won't use it that often. Alright, let's get right to it by changing this pain in the butt manual bottle jack for a pneumatic one. Let's go. After the unboxing, I took some measurements of that new Pneumatic bottle jack. So now I'm gonna sketch and integrate it into the 3D version of the manual tube bender. And in theory, it should be a fairly easy job to do. Because yeah, I think I'm quite good at sketching parts. You see, this is what I do for a living. I design robot cells and other type of machines. YouTube is just a hobby. Yeah, a hobby that I devote every single seconds of my spare time to fabricate, edit and release videos as fast as it's humanly possible. Yeah, working 70 hours per week, missing parties, losing friends, skipping birthdays. It's just working and working and working. But I love it! I got lost for a moment. Alright, where was I? Wait a minute. Damn it, it won't fit. Oh, no, wait. You see, this is the part that converts pressurized air into the hydraulic motion by probably some sort of pumping action. Anyhow, since it's screwed on with some sort of tapered thread, I should be able to rotate it just a bit, like this. It's gonna work. So let's find out. Alright, first I have to modify the 2-inch die. If you saw video part 1 on the tube bender build, where I retrofitted my existing 1.5-inch die to fit my new tube bender design. Well, it's pretty much the same process here for the 2-inch. Using my mill, I needed to re-drill the center hole to remove the flatted section. Then I machined and welded a new hub. After that, it was just a matter of stacking up the die with its shim plates. Unfortunately, it seems that one hole was not perfectly aligning with the others. So I had to bring the 1/2-inch drill, aka the Risk Killer. If you're wondering why the name... Yeah, you need to be really careful with this drill, because when it bites good. Alright, so the other die, the 1.5-inch, was 85 pounds. So let's see how heavy is the 2-inch. Actually lighter, 81 pounds. Yeah. If you think about it, it makes sense. If you take a side view of both dies, for the 2-inch we have to machine and remove more material to create that curved section. And it's even more obvious when we stack the two dies one on top of the other. So that explains why the 2-inch is lighter by 4 pounds. So now you know. Still a good workout though. Now let's install the new Pneumatic bottle jack and get rid of that old manual one. Oh, and quick reminder, if you're playing with those 20-ton jacks for your own projects, just keep in mind that the Pneumatic one is a bit higher. So it's not a direct swap between the two versions. So now you know. I did cut a section on the frame, but that was to make room for the retractable spring. You'll see and understand what I mean during the testing phase in a few minutes. Okay, now we need to modify the new bottle jack so it can work upside down. And again, same process here that I covered in the first video. The hardest part of this process is always to unscrew the top flange. Always. Woo! You piece. The only difference here is that I have to extend 2 oil inlets instead of 1, like I did on the manual jack, yeah, again in part 1. Because you probably guessed it, there's one inlet for the manual pumping mechanism and one for the pneumatic pump. Holy shit! Okay, it seems that the pneumatic pump is already installed with a swivel fitting. Yeah, that's clever. So it ain't gonna be that hard to rotate it to solve the clearance issue we saw earlier in the CAD. So that's good. So the plan was to open that unit up, but yeah, I heard something strange. I'm betting you that there's a compressed spring inside of this. So my guess is the pressurized air come inside, pump the thing, and the retract motion is done by the spring. I won't open it up because, yeah, I don't want to look for parts for the next month because of that compressed spring. Boing! The point of the video is not to, analyze how a pneumatic bottle jack is made. So yeah, think about it if you want to tear apart one of those units to see what's inside. And we're almost done here with the fab. I just have to couple the jack with the die and see how bad it fits. Or maybe I'll get lucky this time. It is so freaking close. Yeah, I was not lucky. But nothing that a grinder can fix. Perfect! I completed the build with the finishing touches like adding the springs and machining some new bullets. There you go. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. And now we should be good to start trying to break that thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, our main event, it's new ending time!
Well, I plan to present all the tubes I found in the shop to Ben with this boxing theme. But after only 15 seconds of this intro, yeah, I thought it was weird enough. So let's do this simply. The smallest tube I found has a 2-inch OD with a sidewall of 1/16. The next one, let's call it the medium size. It's not even a 2-inch OD, but has a sidewall of 155. And the last one, I already nicknamed it
The Unbendable!
Has a 2-inch OD with almost a sidewall of 200. So let's put the tube bender to the test and try to break it. Yeah, or not. Yeah, my wife just told me she'd be glad if I didn't break anything this time, and if I could be on time for supper. Yeah, for once. Oh yes! My first bent 2-inch tube! But it seems to be stuck because of the bullet. You can even see it deforming the tube. I eventually was able to remove it from the bender.
20 minutes later.
But don't worry guys, I already have a new concept to avoid this bullet biting problem. But that's for another video. And the result? It's crap. It created inside wrinkles and flattened the tube. Well, that was not good for my first 2-inch bend. So let's throw that one in the garbage, and by garbage I mean my smart booza. Yeah, I accidentally threw it on my modified car. I'm a smart man. Then I tried again and again, changing the bullet position with each try, in a desperate attempt to get better results. The bends were getting even worse. There's even one that slept in the die. Since my morale was quite low, I decided to try bending ABS? Yeah, why not? Who knows, maybe this thing will shatter into millions of pieces. At least that will be good footage for this video. Hey, would you look at that? It's not bad! You can see on the surface all the fractures, because this area is pulling away the plastic. And on the other side, the inside of the bend, it is compressing the plastic, and we can clearly see that effect. Yeah, I'm really glad I took a break from that 160 sidewall too, because it was just failure after failure after failure. But yeah, it seems that I couldn't bend ABS. Is it useful? Absolutely not. Is it fun? Of course it is. Okay, enough fooling around and let's try the big one. Maybe I should have something to protect that pretty face of mine? No, it's not pretty, it's just hairy. Anyway, first on the list, the medium-sized tube. Here goes nothing. .150 thick wall, and it's bent. This is really another level. It's big, it's thick, and now it's bent, and I love it. You see, it kept this round shape, which is great. Got a really nice interior finish. Not so much deformation at the end and at the beginning, which is great too. Really, really liking it. I ain't gonna lie, at the time I was very nervous. Woo! We're talking about 40,000 pounds of force applied here. It could go wrong very quickly. It's like having a loaded spring. No, let me rephrase that. It's like having a 40,000 pounds loaded spring just a foot in front of you. But also I was very surprised and excited to see how the bender was going. Kinda hard to see with my poker face. Oh yeah, also let's not forget the monkey noises. I was excited. I could feel through the air every pumping movement. It was exactly the same feeling as a loud kick from a subwoofer speaker. Then I knew I was at the limit of the bottle jack's capacity. Strangely, the bender section that suffered the most was the bullet still. While bending, it was flexing up about 2 to 3 inches, and as soon as I removed the pressure on the bottle jack, it was lowering down. There was a lot of tension on that tail, and it was even funnier to see the behavior of the rod holding the bullet, in reaction with the spring back from the bend tube, and stretching back into position when resuming bending. Since I knew I had to redo the bullet tail, I decided to cut it, facilitating the tube extraction from the bender. Nice! Wow! Compared to the tube I'm gonna use for the roll cage. Holy cow! Oh, very nice bend. Proud of this. Very proud of this. So it seems that the main shaft didn't bend. Yes! That would have been such a pain to remove from the machine. It was good. Actually, it was still very straight. The only damage I've been able to find was the partially bent plate holding the secondary roller. Then I did some upgrades on the bender. And finally, I recycled the old toolbox that I used back then to mount the tube bender version 1. Anyone looking for a boat anchor? I also added some stabilizer rods. You see, I'm gonna use digital protractors to monitor the bends, so I don't want the toolbox to rock back and forth while I'm bending tubes. And they're also quick to retract. And there it is! This is my version 2 of a tube bender. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I actually failed on my attempts to fail my bender. But like they say, 2 wrongs make a right? Yes, I could go bigger on tube size, but since it managed to bend a much bigger tube than what I was planning on using it for, I think it's just kinda pointless to go bigger. I mean, sure, I could throw a solid 2-inch shaft in there and see the outcome, but what's the point? Also, I won't sell the plans on this build for two main reasons. Number one, it's dangerous. It is. And second, machining those dies is a pain. If you're doing it yourself, well, you're gonna need very large equipment, like a huge lathe and a big mill. And if you're lucky enough to find a machine shop that can do it for you, you're probably gonna pay about the same price as a good tube bender, defeating the purpose of the build. So yeah, no plans. But please feel free to use it as a template for your own version. By the way, as a reference, the main shaft is 1.5 inches. You're welcome. Right, next episode, we're gonna be back on the roll cage for the Smart Boozer. You know, the thing I was supposed to build to be on time for racing season, but instead started all that bender project thingy. So yeah, I'm late for racing season, but I do have a good bender. But till next time, go do something with your head, your hands, or both. See you guys. The Norn won't let down. Okay, bye.